Okay. Welcome. I said welcome. This is episode 20. This is episode 20. This is episode 20. I said it's episode 20. Hello. This is episode 20 of the Zoom Out podcast. And it's always great to hear about the fact that y'all are back and listening to me. So, hello and welcome to the Zoom Out podcast. My name is Vaughn Johnson Baptiste. I am a senior communications major going to college. And, I appreciate anyone who's stopping by and listening to me yap for 20 minutes about any type of motivational thing in this world, things that I've been thinking about and all that type of stuff. Because you already know if you've been listening to the past couple, like 2019 episodes, this is a audio diary for myself. So I am very appreciative to anyone who has decided to take time out of their day and listen to me talk, gain some more knowledge about the different things that we go through and stuff like that. So I guess I'll start it off with how I'm feeling currently. I think I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I am a little bit tired today, hence the actual topic of this episode. But I'm trying to pull through. It's, man, I mean, I might as well say it. It's my last 4 months. It's my last 4 weeks, a month out of graduating on May 15th. Give me a clap around. I really appreciate it. I feel as if I am burning out, but I'm not out just yet. And I wanted to kind of talk about, all right, so I guess I'll just lay it all out. Today's episode is about having a feeling of burnout and having that feeling of not knowing, like being pulled from all different sides and not knowing what to do, and just kind of feeling like you're over it and stuff like that. And I've had that personal experience a lot in my life. And I'll be honest with you, that might just really and truly have to deal with my entire college experience. You know what I mean? Because there's always, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the episodes prior, there was always a time frame during my semester or my year or whatever that I would be gung-ho at the start of it. I'd be on top of every single assignment. I'm not missing a single one. I'm staying up the entire day actually doing stuff. I'm in the library, like making sure I'm getting done assignments and stuff like that and all of these different things. And then it got to, let's say it's the spring semester. So let's say maybe midway through March. And I think that's exactly actually what happened this semester. Midway through March, I start getting a little bit lackadaisical. I start focusing on other things. My brain is not paying attention to everything that I have to get done. And honestly, I just feel, to be honest with you, I feel like it's because I'm kind of over it. And it's still the concept of me not initially wanting to be here. And I know I know I'm worth it, and I know I'm supposed to be here, and I know everything like that. But it's just gotten to a point where I always have that moment of thinking like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired of doing this every single day. I just want to go to my room and relax. But then I have to realize that, time is ticking. Got a month into the next semester. In my case right now, a month until I graduate, and I need to make sure that everything is on top of everything. So that is low-key why you guys didn't get an episode last week. Mainly because, I was kind of trying to focus on everything. And like I said, it's coming down to the wire. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything is good, trying to make sure that everything is ready to go so that I don't have to worry about it in the future. And, that type of thing. So that's basically my little spiel of having to deal with it. And I figured that if I'm dealing with it, you guys might be dealing with it as well. So let's go with the definition of what burnout is. Burnout is, and this is the actual definition, burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged or excessive stress, leading to feelings of being overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands, often resulting in loss of motivation and interest. And I kind of basically put it in these words where it's basically being pulled from 8 different directions and simply feeling over it and just waiting for it to end. And a couple, like I have a episode a while back that I was talking about the idea of self-motivation and all that type of stuff. And dealing with burnout is definitely something that is going to hinder you with actually having that motivation. So I feel as if it is important to note that burnout isn't a failure. It's a signal to something that needs to shift. It's basically showing you that you need to take time to give yourself a break. You know what I mean? Try to actually give yourself a moment to relax. Realize that there's a lot of different things going on, and you need to try to prioritize time to actually like avert out of that. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is you have to try to make sure that if you're dealing with burnout in that exact moment, you have to take a step back, because if you're being pulled from all different sides, you're going to have to try something. It's not going to continue to help you if you're going to constantly be like, okay, I got to do this. 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 And I've talked about this on this podcast already. And it's a very harrowing ideology that like genuinely might mess you up in a certain aspect, because I'll say this, it makes you feel as if you don't get all of these different things done, then you're a failure, that you are incapable of doing your job, or you're incapable of doing this, that, and the third. And based off of like that, you will end up making that seem like that's the case for a whole slew of other things, and that's not healthy in the slightest to do to yourself. But yeah, I just feel as if it is important to note that, once again, burnout isn't a failure. It's a signal to something that needs to shift. It is a signal that is showing you that you need to prioritize certain things more than others. Try, if something can get done in 5 seconds, try to get that done maybe first. If something is continuing to like be held over your head and stuff like that, and you cannot at that moment get all these other things done, probably, like, depending on, let's say if it's a job, let's say if it's you're at work and you have a million different things that you have to do, but you really and truly have to get this project done, or else you will get absolutely like shafted when it comes to anything else. There would be so many different issues with your boss and stuff like that, and it's probably best for you if, and I don't know if this analogy is working, so obviously if you guys are listening, you can hit me up on Instagram and let me know if this analogy works, or if you guys resonate with it. But it's basically saying to maybe your boss, or saying to a coworker or something like that, like, I have all of these different responsibilities, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get every single solitary one done. So maybe having that conversation with a worker, or having that conversation with somebody that is in that job, is going to help you out. And maybe saying like, I might not be able to do every single thing on this list at this exact moment, because I have this big looming shadow over me of a thing to do. It is probably going to help you in the long run if you actually take that time to say, you know what, I have this to do. This is important. This is the most important thing. I will get to everything else at a time that is reasonable. But for right now, this is what I have to work on. And that might actually end up making it so that so that your exhaustion or your loss for motivation can or even interest, such as what I have to deal with, can diminish a little bit, so that you can be like, okay, this is what I have to deal with. Cool. Let me make sure that everything else can get pushed back a little bit. And if it can't, then there's another thing that you might have to switch them. But having those conversations with whatever thing, whatever source is giving you all of these tasks, maybe having a conversation with that person, or having a conversation with that figure in your job or whatever, is going to allow you to get some clarity with somebody, and you can actually maybe get the task helped with. Maybe you can get a coworker to help you with that, or maybe you can get a family member that can help you with that, a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever you're into that can do that for you. It's something that is going to help you in the future, and it's something that is going to make sure that you have that time in the future to get everything done while giving yourself time to breathe during it. And there's a whole slew of other things. So yes, that just make sure you know, and I'm going to say one last time, burnout is not a failure. It is a signal that something needs to shift, and it is up to you to find that shift. It's going to be hard at first. It's going to be difficult. But I've always said that if you're not going to try to immediately, if you're not going to try to fix it, it's not going to get fixed. And if you do that, like if you're going to constantly have that moment where you're just like, oh my God, I can't, it's not going to help you in the long run. It's not going to be something that is beneficial to you in the slightest. So I urge you to give yourself the ability to do it and give yourself grace while doing it, because it's not going to be an immediate thing. Like I've said in the last episode or the episode before, I'm not sure. It's not going to be an immediate thing. You have to go through these processes. You got to go through the mud and the dirt in order to actually get to the clean land and stuff like that. That's what you need to go through, because it's a whole process that you have to go through. It's not just like a click of a button and immediately you're done. It's a situation where you have to sit and really evaluate different things in your life that is going to allow you to, like, once you evaluate those things, it's going to allow you to get so much more progress. And even if you have like a like I said, I think last episode I was talking about like minor setbacks and stuff like that. Last episode, that's when I was talking about letting yourself have those moments and give yourself forgiveness for the little setbacks can even push you even further with the progress. Like just because you got that one thing wrong doesn't mean you can't the next try get an ace. Like it's not like for a test. You could sit there and I deal with this every time I take a test. You could definitely not study. You can just wait until the day of and just go in there and take the test and you'll fail. But if you take that time before the next test, reevaluate what you did, realize that there was a certain situation that needed to be fixed, a certain thing that needed to be fixed, make that change, that progress will get even better. And you can't you can't allow yourself to lose that motivation. You can't allow yourself to lose that interest for very long. You can have that moment. You can have a bad day. You can have a bad week. Let's not make it a bad month. Let's not make it a bad year, a bad decade. You get what I'm trying to say. So basically, yes, just try your best to try to figure out a shift out of that moment of just being burnt out because there's so many things on your mind. There's so many things that are overwhelming you and draining you. And oh my God, if you just take that time to just shift some things around, you will be able to get what you need to get done. And I 100% believe in any single person that is listening or not listening to this podcast. Go out and try to figure out your shift. And once you do that, you'll be good to go. It's not going to take you a day. It's not going to take you a week, but it'll damn sure happen if you keep going with it. And that's what I got to say about that. While I'm saying all of this, it makes more sense for me to actually give you some ways to break through this. So, some good actual things that you could do is, maybe some journaling or some meditation. Definitely taking time and like you could go do yoga. You can do 1,000 different things to get your mind off of these million things that you have to do. You could just journal. Writing your feelings down always helps. I know I did poetry, and I know I haven't I said I was going to end up doing poetry on this podcast and doing more like saying the poetry on this podcast. And actually, in the future, maybe when I graduate, I might start doing that again, because I haven't been writing. I've been just so focused on everything else, and I feel like it will help with that burnout feeling, because if I'm writing down my emotions, writing down my feelings, that is being progress. That is giving progress, even though it might seem like it's not, because you're not doing that specific thing that you have to do. It is still giving progress to your mental health and all that type of stuff that is going to help you get back into shape and go deal with that situation that you were burnt out from. And actually, another thing that is interesting about this topic as well is the fact that actually I had this whole situation. I had a class before I started recording where the person that the class was interviewing was actually talking about their burnout and explained that there was different things that she was dealing with that were allowing her that were allowing her to actually get out of that burnout. She was talking about maybe doing yoga. She was talking about doing painting. She was like, she was just throwing out many different things that are something that can help you with the burnout, because it happens to everybody. Burnout is a very normal thing. Burnout is a thing that is globally, everyone has it. There's not one person that's listening to this podcast that has never dealt with a single shed of burnout, because that is a normal thing, and a normal human thing that just happens. It's not just you that's dealing with it. Everyone deals with it. It's a normal occurrence. Everyone deals with it every day, and it just happens. The thing is, there are way less people. There's a certain amount of people that deal with burnout. And then there's a certain amount of people out of that certain amount of people that get out of that burnout state of mind. And those are the people that can actually get higher. And I truly believe that. And that's why I say, like, maybe if you are having that struggle, having that time while you're dealing with the burnout, journal it. Write some stuff down that you're feeling. Do some meditation. Take your mind off some things. Read. Painting. Like I said, writing down, just doing anything creative could actually help out with this situation a lot. And I can 100% agree that the more you go at it, the more that it'll end up sticking. And that is another thing too. When it comes down to, and that actually, no, I'll just veer off this topic for 2 seconds. I encourage everyone listening to this podcast to constantly, every single day, put this in your routine, to look in the mirror, give yourself some positive affirmations, because it's going to help you throughout the day. If you're waking up and constantly looking at yourself in the mirror and saying you are him, you are her, you are whatever you identify as, you are you are the person that you need to be. You're at the place that you need to be. You're struggling, and that's fine. There are things that are going to allow you to change this, and you can start this day new. Forget anything that happened the previous day. Today is a new day, and there's no sunshine, nothing but clouds in the sky. Like, I'm sorry, I just started thinking about that Keith Franklin song, I think. Kirk Franklin, my bad. But yeah, like, if you give yourself some time to get back from the burnout, and also give yourself some positive affirmations that are going to actually help you out, make you feel better, all these different things, it'll end up helping you 100%. And not doing those things, but knowing that you have to, is going to be a detriment to you. So instead of sitting here and constantly thinking that, oh, I can't, stop doing that. Stop saying can't. And just do it, man. Just try it. Give it a whirl, it's something that's going to help you in the future. And I'm going to make sure that I yell that from the top of the rooftops, that, like, yeah, it's going to help you in the future. Another way you can actually deal with this burnout situation and actually break through out of it is by changing your definition of success. I used to think that success was hitting every goal, being available all the time, and constantly producing. But that honestly led me straight to the burnout that I'm talking about. It immediately let me realize that, oh my God, like, I'm trying so hard to do all of these different things. I'm trying to become available for every single thing. I'm trying to do every single thing. I had, like, a whole bunch of things that were on my mind to do, like, really and truly all had to do with the path that I'm trying to go down. But I was trying to do photography, writing, creative writing. I was trying to also do a bunch of different things. And that was leading me straight to burnout, and I realized that doing all of those things isn't entirely the best idea, because it's going to make you burn out super quickly, and it's just not going to help you. But now I define success as feeling aligned with my purpose, having energy at the end of the day, and being proud of how I show up, not just what I get done, how I am, just being me. Like, just being happy at the end of the day that I am the person I am, and being able to be happy with myself, and having energy. Yeah. Just to, at the end of the day, just, okay, I'm here. I am awake. I'm alive. And I did good, even though I might have not thought I was in the previous time. And I feel like, just if you're able to change that definition of success for yourself, and it's going to take a while, it's not going to take 5 seconds for you to figure that out. It took me quite a while to realize that that's not the most beneficial thing for me specifically. And now everyone else is different, and everyone has their own lives. Everyone has their own things that they're dealing with. So if you're able to just take a moment and just breathe and try to figure out what your definition of success is, and then figure out a way to maybe better that so that you don't feel like you're so burnt out from everything you have to do, then you'll get things done even better, even faster. And you'll just overall progress. And I think that's the whole purpose of this podcast. Actually, I've started realizing the whole purpose of this podcast is because it's called the Zoom Out Podcast. So really and truly, the whole idea is, like I said in the first episode, like break out of what your small ideology of what's going on. There's a whole bigger picture that you are missing. It's not just the one thing that you think should be the way. There's 1,000 different things. Zoom out and look at the bigger picture. You're really, really focusing on this one minor detail that is that's like maybe a cut, a scratch, and this, that, and the third, and you really hate it. This, that, and the third. It's like a YouTuber when they look at a comment section and it's like a million good comments and there's that one bad one that's saying that the video is terrible. Like, it's that one thing that you're really paying attention to, but the whole time you have a slew of other things to look at. It's a bigger picture that you can just look at, and it's just like, wait. There's so many other things that can help. Or maybe even if you see that little scratch, that little messed up whatever it is, if you zoom out a little bit and look at it, that one thing might be able to make a bigger picture, like a bigger thing that's beautiful. And I think that more goes into the concept of saying that your scratches and your cuts and your bruises make you beautiful. They make you who you are, and that is going to be the thing that can help you through this burnout. That could be the thing that helps you through actually like being so focused on so many different things. Just relax, just zoom out of it and be like, you know what? In order for me to get out of that, I just got to focus on me, focus on where I am, focus on who I am, focus on my definition of where I want to be and where I have to be, and then give myself time to get there. Give myself time to enjoy what I'm seeing and enjoy everything that's happening. I don't know if I'm really hoping that you guys are understanding where I'm coming from with this, because I feel like I'm going through a lot of different things, but like my overarching point is making sure that you just have the ability to think about the whole thing, the whole picture as a whole, and figure out where you need to be in your life and give yourself the time to get there. And I think that's really where I'm getting at, but I'm hoping that you guys we're following my logic throughout this entire thing and kind of understanding where I'm coming from. And even if you have some things to add as well, you can throw it into into my DM, the One Zoom Out Podcast, or this One Zoom Out Pod on Instagram, on IG. You can show me, shoot me a text and just see it, we can have a conversation about that, because it's something that is very interesting to me. And yeah, there's that. The third thing that you can also use to break out of this burnout is to prioritize yourself. If you love to read, if you love to do music, if you love to make music or listen to music the first time, but whatever, if you love these things that are going to help you, if you hone in on those things, it'll help you. It'll help you get into a lot of different creative aspects that you might have been missing out on because you were so focused on these other things. If you prioritize yourself, take a weekend and prioritize yourself. Get some rest. Like that woman said in the interview session that my class was just having. Prioritize yourself. Make sure you're eating enough. Make sure you're drinking water enough. Make sure you're taking a walk. Maybe if you're reading, Make sure you read, get some fresh air and all that type of stuff. Prioritize yourself, and you're prioritizing your health. That is going to make it so that once you get back into that house and you sit down and get to work, you will be rejuvenated. You will be perfect. Get some sleep. If you need to get some sleep, get some sleep. If you need to get like something to drink, get a bite to eat, social interaction, whatever it is, make sure you use that as much as possible so that you can come back to whatever thing you're so like exhausted from, and you'll have enough energy to push through. And I'm not just saying go do that for one weekend and never do it again. Constantly go back and do it over and over again so that you have the ability to actually like progress. Progress doesn't happen in a day. It happens in a week. It happens in a year. It happens in a month. It happens in a year. And the constant example that I always have is it doesn't take 5 seconds to become a bodybuilder when you're overweight. It doesn't take 5 seconds. There are so many different people that I know that are on social media and stuff like that. That I don't know if you guys are aware, like, are familiar with AMP. Well, you guys probably are. You're familiar with AMP, and one of the people in AMP specifically, Agent. He is a good example of someone who took that progress and made it his own. When he like years ago, I'm not like super into like the backstory of him because I didn't start watching with him. I started watching like with the entire group, but his story is like when he was like younger, he was very overweight and all that type of stuff, like 300 pounds and stuff like that. And over years and years and years of working out, like I'm talking a long time of working out and a long time of getting his mind right and getting used to different things, it allowed him to actually get to where he is now. And he's gotten a lot of progress done. He's dropped like so much weight since that time when he was younger, and that helped him to feel more comfortable with where he is now. Yeah, and I just feel like that story specifically it doesn't only have to do with weight. That has to do with so many different things that it all relates. You know what I mean? Like it all relates. And I feel like it's something that is going to help you if you genuinely sit there and take the time to progress. It's not going to take a day. I can't get up right now and just end up being an Olympic runner. I can't do that. I don't have the breath for it. You know what I mean? Like I don't have the ability to just go do that. I can go and try though. And that's the whole point. Go and try. Go and actually get your feet wet. You know what I'm saying? Like get your feet wet. Go ahead and do it and try your best. Put your best foot forward and your next one will be even better. That's what I'm saying. Put your best foot forward and that next one will be even better. And then that's really and truly just like the most important thing for you to do when it comes to yourself, and giving yourself that grace, giving yourself that ability to just do what you need to do and prioritize yourself. You'll be good by the time you actually get to where you need to be. And this is actually something that I will talk about in the next episode, where I'm going to be talking about the pressures of trying to have it all figured out. Because you won't have it all figured out right now. It's something that's going to be with you forever. It's going to be something that you're going to you're going to have to deal with this for a long period of time. And there's a lot of pressure that comes with trying to have it all together, have it all figured out. And there's that. And something that I'm thinking about is just make sure that you have the time to just prioritize yourself, prioritize who you are. Because you're important. You're at the crux of this whole situation. You are important. Your mental is important. The ability that you have to do anything is important. So once you get through that burnout won't be in your way constant, like as much as it might be right now. And then my last way that you can break out of this whole thing is, and I feel like I'm very good at this. I'm not sure, but being okay with saying no. Just being okay with saying no if you feel as if there's like so many different people asking you to do this, that, and the third, and you don't want to be said, just say no. If you say no, sure, they might be like, oh man, but like, okay, there's nothing wrong with sitting there and saying, no, I can't do that. I can't do that right now because this. You can give an explanation, sure, that's fine, but you don't have to. You don't have to do it. You don't have to take the responsibility of every single solitary thing somebody puts on the table for you. You do not have to sit there and make that sandwich for that person. That is like the most small like example I can come up with just now. But like, you don't have to do that. Just tell them you can do that yourself. You know what I mean? Like being okay with you need to be okay with saying no sometimes, because a person that says yes every single day is going to end up saying yes to the wrong thing. And then they end up, not enjoying the repercussions of that. And I feel like that is the important thing to say with this whole entire thing. And yeah, as much as saying yes is going to open doors for you and being able to like do things for people and make them happy and all that type of stuff, prioritizing yourself and your happiness is the most important thing. So make sure you do that first, because if you don't do that and you constantly say yes, 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 that's when the burnout comes in. Because you're so burnt out of saying yes to people and so burnt out of doing things for you. And that could be for 1,000 different reasons, but you're so burnt out from that you're basically saying no to yourself when it comes to the fact that you don't want to do that. You're not in the mental space to do that. You're not capable of doing that at this exact moment, because you might be going through things. That's like a personal life thing. You might be going through something that you don't want to deal with a whole bunch of other people's things. And that should be fine. You should be okay with that. And it's understandable if you grew up in the mindset where you can't say no to people because that's going to do this, that, and the third. But genuinely, if you constantly do that every single day, you are going to burn out. You are going to lose the motivation to do anything. You're going to lose the interest to do anything. You're going to. And if you're okay with that, sure, by all means, do your thing. But I know as a fact, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be okay with doing that to yourself. That's not healthy for you. It's not mentally okay for you to do. There's not. So you need to figure out what things are going to allow you to actually go and do it. To go and prioritize yourself. Say no. Say no. And it's okay to say no. Because if you're not going to do that, then you're just going to get walked all over. And I don't encourage anyone to do that to themselves, because that's not healthy at all. So I'll just say this as a final point before I get to the outro. For anyone who is listening, I genuinely want you guys to go ahead and be yourself. Like, be yourself, prioritize yourself. Everything that has to do with you, do that, because that is the most important thing to do. Stop saying yes to every single thing. Say no and be okay with it. Say no and give yourself time to actually just be. Saying yes to every single thing that comes your way is beneficial in some regards, but if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't want to do it, don't put yourself through the pain and agony of having to do it because, oh my God, this person asked me to do it. It's not helpful. It's not helpful. Because then you're going to end up sitting there a week from then and complaining that you had to do this, that, and the third. Let's make it so you don't have to do that complaining and actually just say no. You're not, and there's only two things that'll end up happening. Somebody's going to say, oh, okay, and get somebody else to do it or do it themselves, or they'll be upset. And if they're upset, okay, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Who gives a damn? You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my little spiel for today's episode. You know, I might as well let's clap it up for that. I went on a whole little rant just then, but you know, I appreciate anybody who is constantly listening to me yap. Man, I get so like these different topics definitely make me think about like all the different ways that they apply to myself and all the different ways they apply to the people that I know, and it gets me so amped up to talk about, because it's something that I've realized in multiple different people, that it's just, it's we live in a really weird world that we're all trying to figure out. So it's like, if you can't like just do what you want to do, or if you can't like prioritize yourself and stuff like that, it's just not going to be beneficial for you. And I don't want that for anybody. And I truly believe that. So I feel like I've talked enough, but like, I feel like this last little point that I'll say, and it's just, this is last one thing. I'm not going to go on a whole spiel, but I genuinely believe that, guys, if you have the ability to get up and light your fire again, do that as much as possible. The only thing is, you just have to make sure that the first push is by prioritizing yourself. The first push in being able to get back up and light your fire and be more like be back to the person that is able to do whatever you're trying to do, whatever your tasks are. The first person the first thing that you have to do in order to do that is by prioritizing yourself. Push yourself to prioritize yourself, because we forget ourselves sometimes, and that'll be a whole different topic. But we need to remember ourselves for these moments, because they are going to be the things that help us. All right. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and listening to this week's episode of the Zoom Out Podcast. I know it's some time late. You know what I mean? I've been focusing on other things, and I was feeling burnt out, which is the whole purpose of this episode. And I'd say this helped me, because I feel like this whole podcast is a product of me being burnt out, a product of me trying to get out other outlets to talk about my burnout. So I appreciate anyone who stopped by and listened to today's episode. I will make sure to have next week's episode on time. I will make sure to, just have some good stuff for you guys for next week. Once again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I am Vaughn Johnson Baptiste, Senior, about a couple weeks out of here. So, and I have an episode for you guys when it comes to this whole journey I've been on as a person that never wanted to go to college and being someone that's about to graduate. So, you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. I know it's Thursday. And prioritize yourselves this week. By the time you get back on this, by the time you get back to listen to this episode, I want you guys to make sure you have prioritized yourselves, because that is what's important. This has been Vaughn Baptiste, and peace.